Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Ramey, and join me today. He is back. Peter Verra, senior BOF contributor, returns to the Social Hour. How you doing,
I remember
Pete?
when these were vlogs. You remember those days?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was not too long ago.
I changed that. I think I started I don't know if
You rebranded not too
I've
long ago.
rebranded it, and I don't know if I maybe started renumbering at that point, but yeah, these are mostly just podcasts, audio. Every once in a while, I'll go with the video, like today. Today's will be a video one.
Oh, jeez.
Not
Not a good one.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is episode number 132 of this podcast, this Batman on Film podcast.
Did you ever tell anyone the
Hmm.
story of how announcer Rachel founded Batman on Film on a web TV?
Announcer
Did you
Rachel
tell that
did
story?
that.
Isn't that how the story goes?
Oh, I founded it on a web TV. I didn't know if
Oh, I
I've
thought-
ever told anybody that story.
I thought it was announcer Rachel who did it. Okay, I got confused. So maybe
No,
you haven't told
no.
me the story.
I keep that. That's I kind of keep that on the down and low. I don't know if I've ever. I didn't think I ever told that story. But I was going to talk about the Batman part 2. Well, we can just talk about how the origin story of Batman on Film instead, if that's what you want to do.
I mean, it's your show. It's what you want to do.
Okay. Well, I'd rather talk about the Batman part 2.
All right. We can do a satellite show. How's that? On
Sure.
the origins
Yeah.
of Batman on Film.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we have a whole series on the history of Batman on Film called
Chronicles,
the
they were
BOF
great.
Chronicles. Yes. So
That was fun.
listen-
I loved the Batman and Robin stuff because I like it when you talk about the stuff that like I kind of was too young to remember.
Yeah.
You know, so like everything like 97 and earlier was like a real treat because while I remember Batmania 95, it's still like through a 8-year-old's eyes.
okay, 97. How old were you? 12, 13?
Yeah,
Batman and Robin came out.
yeah, around there.
That had to be right in your wheelhouse, huh?
Yeah, I mean when he's like, take 2 of these and call me in the morning, I was like, this is such a great doctor's line. Goldman's a genius.
Yeah.
I was a kid. What did I know?
I've come to, I don't know if I want to use the word appreciate Batman and Robin, but I can watch it and not get angry because
I can watch it
it's
adoringly.
different. It's a different time. Yeah, I mean, you put it on with a certain mind frame, you
Mhm.
know, you can get through it. I mean, if I see it on, I'll watch it for a few minutes.
If it was
I
like
can't
the last
yeah.
Batman movie ever made, it would probably be in like just I don't know, movie hell, right? Like for
I mean,
movie hell, but it's not.
know,
So
In all seriousness, with speaking of the origin of Batman on Film and Batman, I mean, that's what I feared. I feared that was it.
yeah,
It was a different
Yeah.
day, different era when it came to comic book movies. It wasn't this golden age that we are still in, maybe.
I don't know. I think now we're exiting the golden age, if you ask me.
That's why I said it with a question mark at the end, is because I'm starting to wonder if it's losing some of its, some of its luster.
I got to be honest. I don't think Batman's as Teflon as we think he is, just because of the Flash. Like the Flash gives me doubts. I know I still think Spider-Man is because he's proven it, but the fact that the Flash bombed, it gives me some doubt.
Well, let's say this. My caveat to that when I say Batman's Teflon is solo Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Solo Batman. I mean, I don't, looking back at the Flash, and I've said it, I was wrong about how much I thought Michael Keaton's return would have an impact. I don't think it moved the needle at all, and I don't think
too about that.
I don't think people even really. I don't think they even really hardly noticed. Like general audience, mainstream, they weren't just might have yeah, I kind of heard that, but I don't think they even.
You think because of the strike and no publicity, all that?
Well, that
played a small part. That's not everything.
I mean, I've already done the autopsy on the Flash, but I just don't. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that Batman isn't Teflon. Batman is proven to be Teflon. You've got the Batman was a huge hit. Solo Batman, huge hit. This is what essentially the fourth reboot of the character.
So he's kind of like Rocky, like Batman and Robin knocked him down. BVS and Justice League, he got knocked down. The Flash, he got knocked down, and he just keeps getting back up. All right, I mean, I can understand that. He's kind of relentless. It just, I mean, I've just seen that phrase a lot, and it just I go back. We just had two Batman in a movie that just tanked. Like, I mean, hard time saying he's Teflon.
Keaton, he's not. I mean, you think of a lot of people. How old are you? 36, 37?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were how old when Batman 89 came out?
I don't know, 4. I mean, 3. Okay. I was born 86.
All right. You think about people your age and younger were super young. I mean, children aren't even born yet. And we're talking about people in their 20s and early 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought he was having a career resurgence, and I guess while he is, it's not very, I guess, PR friendly.
Yeah,
so it's a bummer.
I bet I have no worries when it comes to the Batman saga and the Batman Part 2. I think people already invested invested in Robert Pattinson as Batman. Want to see where that story goes.
I want to get invested in Colin Farrell as a Penguin. I need this Penguin show. To be honest with you,
we got to get this damn strike settled. So hopefully, I mean, hell, it's September. They said hopefully October. Well, October's
around the corner.
What? Hell, we're about almost halfway through freaking September already, which is unbelievable. So
we are.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the Batman Part 2. And let me preface by saying there's a disclaimer. This is rumor. I don't.
These are not scoops.
This is not a scoop.
This is not a scoop site.
I will say some things I have heard before. Some things one thing I had not, but we'll get to that. I had not heard that. So is nothing set in stone. I'm not giving you a scoop. I'm just talking about some of the rumors. And I don't pay attention to a lot of the bullshit that's posted on social media because it's just, percentage of people, people just create Twitter accounts.
Oh, the faceless and nameless with the numbers. Yeah.
Just throw out bullshit, like
the only thing we scoop around here is a big old plate of gumbo.
Yeah, we'll scoop that up. The big ladle.
Big old ladle.
Big ladle, and just
full
go
of
use a spoon. Just pour it down your mouth. So I'm kind of, this stuff kind of makes me raise an eyebrow in a positive way because some of this stuff is coming from I don't even know if I want to give them credit. I guess I have to because I don't pay attention to these people on Twitter, but Are you familiar with this account, My Time to Shine?
It is an account that I have heard of recently. Is this someone I should be taking now? See, because this is someone who, again, faceless, nameless. They say something, and I just kind of like brush it off, grain of salt. Is this someone I should be paying attention to? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. I just know, like, you tell me you know all this crap that goes on. You tell me you keep your ear to the ground. So I figured you know already knew who this person was.
I definitely had my ear to the ground more when the Zaddy stuff was going on, because they would say a lot of crazy things. So it was hard to filter out the bullshit from the truth. So like, because they just spew out bullshit, and they still do. Yeah, the idiots of the internet.
Yeah,
but I'm kind of that and like, because they're kind of out of the picture. And to be honest, the strike, there's not much really to even pay attention to. So I kind of just waiting for things to get back to normal.
So, and the reason it popped up this certain story. Okay, I'll just start with that. I mean, the first two things, the Clayface being a character in the Batman Part 2, and also Dick Grayson, a 13-year-old Dick Grayson being in the Batman Part 2 popped up. Both kind of filtered through this My Time to Shine. And I saw it, only saw it because it got picked up by, look, these people who try to make their living and really are dependent on traffic and whatnot. I mean, I
should get a website and not be on Twitter.
times are tough because of the strike. There is nothing. I mean, you've seen, like, even sites that I like and respect have been just really
they're
struggling,
they're
coming up with stories. I mean, stuff like,
I saw yesterday 3 articles breaking down the teaser for the Aquaman trailer, and 2 of them were from Deadline and Variety. And I'm like, you guys,
I mean, and even the trades. I mean, like, when you are saying the worst, I've seen the worst comic book movies according to Reddit. I mean, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel there for content.
Mm-hmm.
So, thankfully, I don't have to do that. And I am very happy that I don't have to come up with just some bullshit article to try to keep traffic and hits going. If I get no hits, I'm just as happy as if I get 1 million in one day. I don't.
Okay. I thought you were all about the clicks. I thought that's what you were all about.
Well, that's a rumor, So anyway, we'll talk about that. The Clayface thing. Now, I have heard, pay attention to Batman on Film. I heard a while back just some scuttlebutt about, there could be a Clayface, could be in Part 2, and it would be, a version of the character that would fit in the universe Matt Reeves has created, which, quite frankly, I think is even more grounded than the Dark Knight trilogy. A little bit more, not completely, but not dramatically so. But and then it would be more like the original Basil Karlo, Master of Disguise type of character. So, what do you? I mean, and then so this it was picked up by this mentioned at this individual on Twitter or X, whatever the hell it's called now. And I ask around about this person who I have no idea who it is or what they do. And some of the people I kind of, I trust or respect, said, this person legit? And most of them say, yeah, I think they're legit. They're not batting 1,000, but they got a pretty good average up there. So anyway, what do you think? What's your take on Clayface, Basil Karlo being in the Batman Part 2, and how would that character fit with what Matt Reeves is doing? Which we know he said this story is an epic crime saga.
Mm-hmm.
So everything has,
growing up, I grew up more aware of the Matt Hagen version of Clayface, the Mud
Yeah.
Monster that Ron Perlman voiced in BTAS. So that was kind of like my Clayface growing up, and I didn't really discover Basil until years later. And then James Tynion incorporated Basil in his Detective Comics run, and he had a very good annual
Yeah, I
covering
remember that.
Basil. And that was
Yeah.
we all thought it was a very fantastic run. And while Clayface was still a mud monster, it did play into his early acting career. So the basics of that original character was there. I think it's fascinating. I would love to see kind of the master of disguise, the man who can wear many faces, like basically he would be the chameleon, like Spider-Man villain, the chameleon. Like that's, for people who are unaware, that's kind of what you can expect, just kind of going into places disguised as somebody else, stealing stuff, blah blah blah. I think it would be interesting. I don't know really the angle that Reeves will take it. Like, is this guy a failed stage performer, like, or is he from Los Angeles? Is he a failed actor? Like, how bad
Let's
is it? Like, his
put it
lifestyle,
under,
like,
think about it under the lens
there's a lot
of,
of ways you can go.
think about think about the Batman, what went on in the Batman. Think about what they're doing in the Penguin, which is looks to be like a mob war, right?
Mhm.
And then he said, Batman Part 2, it's an epic crime saga. So how do you fit that in? A master of disguise. Is he a mob hitman? Is he, I don't know, thoughts?
I don't know. He could just be a common criminal, just Joker style, that wants to watch the world burn, right? Like, I could see him infiltrating the Maroney family and looking like somebody else, and then at the same time going into the Falcone household, and then or maybe he's working for Maroney inside as an inside man. I don't know. There's many
Yeah.
ways you could do that, because he can wear literally so many faces.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm really interested in is the motivation of the character, like what pushes him to the edge
Yeah.
of this, because you mentioned master crime driver. So obviously he's going to be a criminal of some sorts, right? He's a bad
Yeah.
guy. He might be pushing the agenda of the film kind of from behind the scenes, almost Riddler style, right? A lot of versions these days seem to go with the failed actor kind of angle, even for both Basil or Hagen. So I don't know if that's something Matt Reeves would do. That's why I mentioned, like, he could be like a stage actor, because I feel like that would be something you would see in like Gotham City, and then it would turn something. I keep going back to the actor part, and I'm not thinking, I think, enough about the crime angle of mafioso and Penguin and such.
Like I said, he was pretty much a serial killer originally, and that's what the Riddler was to a certain extent in the Batman. So I don't know if you go that route, you change it. And my thing is, I keep thinking, how does it fit with epic crime saga?
What if Clayface is the person who is pulling strings from the top, but because he can wear so many faces, he can be so many different people, and he's kind of orchestrating everything from the top. Maybe Falcone was the distraction, and it was actually Clayface. That's something we could think about, because he could be anyone. That's the thing. He could be anyone. He can infiltrate the mafia. He can infiltrate the government, the police force. He could be a fireman.
Yeah.
Like, he could be anything. He could be anywhere and anywhere. Clayface could have been there at the Iceberg Lounge when Falcone got shot.
I'm just, I'm spitballing here, trying to think of how that fits. And as Reeves has said, the Batman leads into the Penguin, which leads into Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be some common threads here. I do think,
he takes advantage of the power struggle somehow.
Yeah, we're way past the days with Batman movies where it was like, all right, we're going to have the Penguin and Catwoman are the villains in this sequel to Batman. Let's make a story around that. What fits in the stories first, the characters that come, being villains or supporting characters or heroes or whatever, have to fit the story. That's where I come from when I try to talk about this Clayface. Now, I can't 100% rule it out, but I'm pretty sure he's not shape shifting mud monster, you know.
Yeah, I don't see that coming from Reeves. I don't see that coming from this universe as of yet. Right? Like, what part of the Batman makes you think that there's going to be a gigantic CGI monster in the film? Right? Like, I don't think the movie allows you to think that that's possible in this world.
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's nothing to indicate that, you know.
Outside from like a couple explosions and maybe a flying scene, I don't think there's there's that much CGI in the movie to begin with.
So I'm pretty much ruling that version out, that this Matt Hagen, you know, shapeshifter thing. It just and then how would that fit into epic crime saga? So, but anyway, I will say,
well, then again, I mean, then you're just
ahead.
making Clayface very generic, and he's robbing banks and he's like slipping through vents and evading Batman, right? Like,
Yeah,
I feel, if you make him a monster, he's more simplified. Whereas this Master of Disguise seems to be more up Reeves' alley.
yes, absolutely. So that will be, nothing's been confirmed. I just say, I heard it for a while. I may have, put some pictures on Twitter of the original Clayface a while back.
Did anybody write an article on that?
They did not.
No article on that.
Shocks me,
Right, but Dick Cheney, he got an article.
Yeah, he got an article. Dick Cheney
is Alfred.
So yeah,
in The Brave and the Bold. You heard it here first.
Yes. So we'll see with Clayface. That'll be interesting. I think in Batman Part 2, there's going to be a lot of characters returning. I think there's a core group of characters.
Random question. Do you think Officer Martinez returns?
Yes.
You think he pops in? Okay, because he's a character who could easily just not be written into the script, I think.
Yeah, he absolutely returns.
Because he seemed to have been a fan favorite. Like, everyone seemed to love Officer Martinez.
Yeah, I think he gets bumped up. I think he's gets promotion. I think, what if he makes detective, What if he's a detective in the next one?
Okay. And we just follow his career. It'd be cool to kind of grow with.
Yeah, I do think
Martinez.
I think we're getting, I think we have core character. I think Gordon, Alfred, Batman.
I'd like to see a lot more Alfred in this next movie.
I think we'll see Paul Dano again as the Riddler in some fashion. I don't think the Joker is done. I think, we just got a little bit of Barry Keoghan. I think we'll get more of him. I think Selina comes back.
I honestly almost feel we're going to get another tease with the Joker. I think they're going to set up. I think the Joker is going to be like set up for like the third film and the finale,
where there's where he's more. I would say I could see that absolutely. Yeah. But I think
just speculation.
I think we've got this universe. I think there's these four these core characters again, and I think they will be the main players throughout. And then you throw in, you've got Maroni entering this world here in the Penguin. Oz clearly will be back. I didn't mention him, but yes, I mean, Oz Cobblepot will be back.
And when things get back to normal, Reeves teases us a lot. He let us in on a lot of things that we didn't put the pieces of the puzzle together until the movie came out. I mean, he was telling us who was in the movie for a long time before we even found out, Yeah, and he did it his own way. He was sharing pictures of 66 and whatnot. Yeah. So, when the strike's over, I'm sure he's going to be letting us in on some clues, definitely.
Yeah. I think if there was no strike, I think we might have probably already gotten some casting news, because they were going to shoot in November. So it's 2 months from now. And speaking of that leads into another rumor that kind of made the rounds of late, which I had heard before, that filming would begin in March of 24. I had only heard early 24. They were going to push it back to early 2024 as opposed to November. So either way, I think that's extremely doable and very likely if the strikes plural gets settled here relatively soon, because I mean, Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin, the script is pretty much done for the most part. And it's just they would have to ramp up pre-production again, which they had to shut down completely. So yeah, I think that's likely. Now, if the strikes continue, I will say there's a lot. The Batman Part 2 has a pretty good cushion. I mean, we're still we're not. It's still 2 years and a month out from its release.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It could still get delayed at some point, even after the strike, because just the way things have been going, it seems like things get delayed left and right anymore these days. So who knows when it actually comes out, to be honest. But I mean, I guarantee it'll be out before 2030.
I think if they were going to move it to 2025, it would have already been done. If it's coming out, I mean, if it's October of 2025, I'm sorry, if it's been moved past 2025, maybe into early 2026, I think we would know that by now. Like I said, I think it just had such a good cushion, if you will, because you didn't have Matt Reeves doing Nolan, where Nolan made a film
in between,
which
I actually think is a great idea. Kind of cleanse the palate, think about something else, then get back to it.
Yeah, but Matt Reeves he's all in on the Batman universe. This
seems like
this is his thing right now.
Yeah, it really does. It seems like Reeves is just a fan like the rest of us, and this is his lifelong dream. Like we've all, he's spearheading a Batman movie franchise, and I mean, we've all thought we could do it ourselves. So he's actually living out our dream. So it's kind of interesting.
It's nice to have a Batman fan who has that kind of talent as a director and writer. Actually gets to do that. There's no way in hell I could do it. I don't have that kind of creative talent to direct a film or write a script or anything. I just fan. That's what I do. I fan. I let
some
the
people make content.
create.
Some people enjoy it.
Yes. So
you do wonderful podcasts, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. And the latest one to pop up was Dick Grayson was a character in the Batman Part 2. Not only is he Dick Grayson, he's 13-year-old Dick Grayson. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
And I believe this is something you're not a fan of. You think that's too young?
Depends.
Okay.
I said Dick Grayson. No one's has not said yet Robin is in this.
Mm-hmm.
I could, and I said this when the Batman came out. I said I could see how Dick Grayson, whoever, there was a place for that character in this universe. The way, and I'm not saying it's the mayor's kid at all, but clearly Bruce Wayne and Batman both had empathy for that kid.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, it seems as almost
the
gears were turning.
Yeah, the crime scene. Him finding out that that he found his father dead, who had been murdered by the Riddler, and we saw him. He saves the kid in the family at the church, and at the end of the movie, when Batman saves that group down in the bottom of the what the hell was it called? Gotham Square Garden, was flooded. When he reached out his hand and the others were scared of him, the kid grabs it, and takes his hand and he ends up saving all of them. So I definitely can see how Bruce would take a kid in because of the empathy he has in it, because he went through that.
Now you mentioned the specific age. Do you think a 13-year-old Robin is too much for this universe?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think you completely. I am a Batman reader and fan, and I can read Batman stories with Robin, and I get it because it's comic books. But I just can't see Matt Reeves having a 13-year-old kid running around, in a domino mask and green pixie boots, red
I can't
tunic.
see him doing that either. I would imagine he'd wear pants.
Yeah.
I think it could work. I don't know what Matt Reeves is doing, but I do think we're past the time of people won't believe in a young Robin, so we have to have Chris O'Donnell, who's like 24. I think with what the MCU has done with Spider-Man, essentially following that character from high school, freshman year of high school into college, I think people are open to a younger hero.
But yeah, well, he's Spider-Man. He got superpowers. That's different, than a 13-year-old kid.
I get that, but like in the world of Batman, do people know Batman is just a man? No, they think, I would imagine that the citizens of Gotham City think this is some sort of supernatural or superhero type. Like if you live in that world, you don't know who Batman is, right? Like you don't know the backstory. So like, as far as I'm sure there are people who think, he's a monster, or, they've kind of played with that, the urban myth of Batman. Like some people question, is Batman even real?
But
is it just a light in the sky that the police station used?
That's characters in the movie are, hypothetical people who that live in this fictional Gotham. I'm going like the general audience going in. I think
the general audience identifies Batman and Robin as one thing.
Well, I think there's
even to this day.
I mean, you get that with basketball. So and so's the Batman, but he needs a Robin. I get all that, but
yeah, I mean, dating back to Magic and Kareem and Scotty and Michael, LeBron and D Wade.
It's Batman and Robin. Yeah, it's part of the ethos. It's part of the fabric of our.
And I still think 66 plays a huge
culture. Mentality. It's just David Goyer once said Robin is tricky, and I agree with him. It's tricky. But I will say, if Dick Grayson is in this, I trust Matt Reeves to figure a way to make it make sense for Bruce to,
I love Goyer,
foster a kid.
He's a weird guy. He said She-Hulk was created so she could bang Hulk, but they're cousins. It's like, God damn it, David. Goyer goes off on weird ones every once in a while, but I like Goyer for the most part.
But disclaimer, I'm a solo Batman guy. That's my preference. So, including Robin in this. Now, with that,
my preference actually is Batman and Robin. Like I like,
but I would say that because I don't think Batman needs Robin. I don't buy into that. That's. But I do realize, I fancy myself a amateur Batman historian. Have I ever told you that, Pete?
I've heard you mention it once or twice, but I also
amateur Batman historian. I do know. I think Robin, the character of Robin, in Dick Grayson, is a very important part of Batman history and the Batman, the world of Batman. I mean, even Chris Nolan, do that enough to include his version of Robin in Dark Knight Rises. That worked for me, I like the way he did it.
My only gripe with that was the end when he said his real name was Robin. I thought that was.
I love that. I thought that was clever as hell. I love it.
Blake overall as a character within that movie, I enjoyed, and I got what no one was doing there, so it was fine with it. But yeah, like it's like you said, even Nolan knows that Robin and Batman, like they're pretty much attached to the hip. You can't really do a series. It's interesting. I believe Snyder and Burton are the only ones to really not incorporate Robin. Like I know in BVS we have the suit, but there's really no Robin or Dick Grayson to be seen in either of those movies. So which is interesting. But for the most part, Dick Grayson's always popped up.
Well, I mean, to be fair, because you mentioned Chris O'Donnell in Batman Forever. I mean, he's supposed to be 17. That was I don't think Chris O'Donnell was so mature looking that you couldn't.
I always took me. He was old enough to have his driver's license. He obviously had a motorcycle, so he was at least 17, 18. Yeah,
he was 17. Supposed to be 17 in the movie. Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer says, how about Dick Grayson, college student? So he's probably junior, senior in high school, 17. He's not an adult where he has to have some kind of legal guardianship.
Yeah, so that's probably right. He probably is actually 17.
Yeah,
because he can't be. He has to be adopted or something.
So he's got to be. He's got to go live with a foster home, and
at least for a year.
It didn't look like it wasn't to me like, oh my God, this guy looks. Those guys are like 16 in high school. They look like they're 35.
Well,
I don't think
movies. Everyone is older than the age they actually play. Like there's a reason why it's called movie magic, right? They're backlots. They're not really buildings. They're facades. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's. Everyone's got to relax.
I just like Chris O'Donnell in Batman Forever playing Dick Grayson. It was not unbelievable that he was supposed to be 17 years old. The only people who would say, he was too old, if you're thinking he needs to be, you want a 12 or 13-year-old kid in there. So, I mean, freaking, what's his name who plays Spider-Man right now? What's that?
He's probably in his early 30s.
He's playing a high school kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got that big
Tom Holland.
Works.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Even Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Toby was in his 30s, yeah.
Yeah, they were playing high school people. They were in their 20s.
Don't these guys shave?
30s.
Like, how fast is their beard growing?
So
there's no stubble.
I know both those Garfield and Tobey Maguire can grow these huge beards. I've seen them. So anyway, back to the Batman. Let's leave the Burton Schumacher universe. So, like I said, okay, I'm good. I mean, whatever Reeves, he's earned my trust. It's like I trust Nolan, I trust Reeves. So whatever.
Like, here's the thing. I'm willing to give Reeves the benefit of the doubt. So when the movie comes out, I'll judge it for then. I'm not going to be one of those people who be like, the fans deserve to see Batman and Robin on the screen. Would I like to see Batman and Robin on the screen? Yes, I would. Would that be my preference? 100%. If I don't get it, am I going to hate this? Absolutely not. I'll go rewatch Batman.
Now I'll throw in this in regards to the Robin Dick Grayson thing with the Batman Part 2 or the Batman saga. I will say, I think at some point in this saga, there is a version of Robin because Reeves knows, like I said, Reeves knows, just like Chris Nolan knew that it's important. Okay, I get that. But it is, you got to keep in mind that, which it could open up a whole tangent here, so I hope it doesn't. But you got the Brave and the Bold supposedly coming in not too long after the Batman Part 2. I think it should wait till the Batman saga is over, but that's a different conversation. And it is literally centered on Batman and Robin. Now, Robin is Damian Wayne. So you could go a couple ways with this. You could say on one hand, well, maybe they're using Damian as Robin because Matt Reeves wants to use Dick Grayson Robin at some point.
I take it as Matt is in charge of Batman, so James Gunn, you got to check in with him. That's how I take it.
I have no comment on that. So that's take that for what you will. So, or, you could say, okay, you're going to have Robin and that kind of Bat family stuff in the Brave and the Bold movies. And then you're not going to have that stuff with Matt Reeves to make it that, to show the difference. And maybe the Robin Dick Grayson thing is not true when it comes to the Batman Part 2. So I don't know. I did still find it interesting. This just
popped in my head. Throughout the tour for the first movies, Reeves would say, not really the Riddler. He's not really Batman year 2. They're not fully formed yet. By the end of this trilogy or whenever Reeves is done, are we just going to get like essentially a fully formed Rogues Gallery, fully formed Batman, fully formed Robin? Like they are who they are. We know who they are. And then it just ends. Like I just thought of that. Like that, if anything, that's the biggest tease of them all. right? Like, and then it leads into something I don't necessarily want, which is Brave and the Bold, toy chest Kowalski Batman. Like, it's just, it's funny because it's like I finally get something that I'm dying for, and then they end it. That's why I'm like,
depends on what
this Black Label versus this DC New You. Like, when it comes to Batman, I don't like it's going to be an interesting fight to see who comes out the winner. One's going to continue on, and one's going to end.
I think the Batman saga will end. I think
it has like a definitive ending.
I think it's going to be like, it's going to be a trilogy. Maybe it's 4 films, I don't know. But I think
4, I'd be very happy.
I think it's going to be, if I'm a betting man, I think it's a trilogy. I think that it's going to be one story told over, 3 films and these satellite Max series like The Penguin, and hell, throw in comic books. The Riddler, Year One, is kind of a prequel to the Batman. And even that, the novel. Even the little novel, the junior novel, which I thought was great, is a prequel. So
that's why I always want to call this like the Batman expanded universe, because it goes past the medium of film.
Yeah, really. That's what I wrote a story once. I said Bat Reeves is breaking new superhero cinema ground. I mean, there hasn't been a whole universe created for one particular character. There's been a universe with multiple, So, but I mean, there's, you just got to think, okay, why is it? Is there another reason why it's Damian and the Brave and the Bold, and not the original Batman or the original Robin, Dick Grayson? Is it because Matt Reeves wants to use that character, or maybe it is James Gunn is so fascinated with Grant Morrison, his stuff, which he's mentioned Grant Morrison several times.
I think Matt Reeves is in charge of Batman, and James Gunn had to find a way to incorporate Batman and Robin, and he went with Damian Wayne and Morrison.
But you are in agreement with me that the DCU Batman should wait till Reeves is done.
Yeah, I agree. The only good thing about the writer's strike is delaying The Brave and the Bold, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think the further that is, I'll complain about it a little bit because like what I hear I don't like, but it's so far away. It's I don't really think about it.
I have like zero interest in it because, I mean, I got a little geeked, a little hyped for Superman Legacy, and then all of a sudden I've got all these non-Superman characters coming in, and I don't care. I don't care if James Gunn says 1,000,000 times they make sense. It's part of the story,
I'm sure it does. It makes part of the
I'm sure it does.
Universe.
But if you're just doing a Superman movie and you weren't having to create a shared universe, cinematic universe, these characters wouldn't be in it. They'd be Superman characters.
Let me tell you, I just binge watched the end of My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah,
and the character, what they've done with Jimmy Olsen on that show is amazing. And it makes me want to see that on the big screen. I don't want to see Mr. Terrific. I want Jimmy Olsen. I want Perry White. I want to see the Newsroom. I got a little bit of that Man of Steel, and I have him back. And it's
come on now. You can't do a solo Superman movie without Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and Hawk Girl, and Metamorpho, and all, hell, who else is going to show up in it?
It just doesn't get me excited. It's if you announce
my tongue is firmly in my cheek when I say that. So
it'd be like if you announced a Batman movie and you said, well, you know what? We're going to have Captain Atom and the Spectre, and we're going to get Swamp Thing in there. And it was like, how is this a Batman movie?
I was just about to say, because I get the Superman Legacy. I thought the casting of Superman and Lois was great.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I really would like a good Superman movie. And then I get this, this news that we got these other
Garrett likes to
DC
tell me to wait
characters
till
in
after the
there.
strike because there's probably more characters that were going to be
And
announced that weren't because of that. And I'm like,
so it's
all
just
right,
like,
you could say that for now.
so I 100% expect that's what's going to happen with the Brave and the Bold. It's going to be, yeah, we're going to have a elongated man and plastic man in it, both. And then we're going to have, some other, some obscure Green Lantern. John Stewart will show up. That will be who it is. John Stewart will show up. And yeah, some of the ones you named, the Spectre, whoever, Captain Atom. They'll throw in Wildcat from the old school Justice Society. And, it ought to be part. Hey, it makes perfect sense in the story.
Wildcat would make perfect sense in a Catwoman movie.
I mean, it's because you want to establish. I'm getting on a tangent because you want
No,
to build.
I get it. Like, we're in the same boat
universe.
here. It's just
that's the only reason those characters are in there. That's the number one only reason why those characters are in Superman Legacy is for this shared universe bullshit. So
hey, look, it still looks like someone didn't learn from the past. I don't, it didn't work.
I had a wise man text me that when this stuff started coming out. Those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So knock yourself out on that shared universe thing. But anyway, you know what? Here's the deal. I got the Batman saga. I'm good.
I will say, if the Brave and the Bold is good and I enjoy it, I'll be honest with you. But if it stinks, I'll be honest with you. And the same thing goes for the Batman part too. If it stinks, I'll say it. If it's bad,
look, with all
for the
I've
most
said
part,
about,
I end up enjoying these things.
If I have no desire for the Brave and the Bold, I don't care, but I do not want it to suck.
Agreed. That's just bad for the brand. It can't.
I do not want Superman Legacy to suck.
No,
but I especially don't want anything with Batman to suck. I didn't want BVS to suck. I did not want to dislike BVS. It kind of sort of broke my heart that I hated it when I saw it.
you know to tell me, I listened to the podcast before BVS.
Yeah.
Like I was there for the round tables of
yeah,
Shu Haas and Kowalski. I heard the hype. I heard how excited you were. I could hear it in your voice, and then I heard how disappointed you were.
Yeah.
On March 27th.
So I'm not one of these assholes that pulls for these DC movies to be disasters. I'm not dancing a jig or putting together a conga line because Shazam 2, Black Adam, The Flash all spit the bit.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you're not a fan. To me, if you're pulling for that,
I want the brand to succeed because to be honest, I want them to make movies like Blue Beetle and stuff like that. Like I think it's good that these obscure characters get their time to shine. I don't know if the general audience cares. Because it seems like they don't.
I know the box office.
I'm rooting for this.
I know the box office isn't very good, but is Blue Beetle? Is it kind of, sort of, a little bit successful? It got good reviews.
I think it's got positive word of mouth. I just don't think
the people who saw it, everyone liked it. I liked it,
Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm a sucker for George Lopez. Anything he's in, I'll go check out. So like this was right up my alley.
But I wasn't like one of these people who were, wanting it to fail. I had not much of a desire to see it, but I went and saw it anyway because that's what I usually end up. I'll go see it. It's a DC movie.
Mm-hmm. Hell, I enjoyed Ant-Man 3 and nobody liked that movie. So
I haven't watched anything MCU since the last Avengers, except for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I've not seen any of that shit. I don't care.
I don't mind. I keep up with it. I haven't seen Guardians just because I don't care about Guardians. The characters don't do it for me. I'm one of the few people. Yeah, I'll watch it at some point, but it's not like my thing.
Oh, Micah loved it. My son.
I know. He's been raving about it. Yeah. Well, he also told me Max Scherzer still had it in the tank. So what does he know?
He had one bad start. He's been pretty good. Now we're back. Now they got me back because they're in the wild card spot and they're only 2 games out of the Astros. So we'll see what the hell happens. It's football season, so That's
Really?
it's all football.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it sounds like it's a playoff baseball season in Texas.
I mean,
Got a little bit of race down there.
let's not forget that
I don't hear anybody talking about Texans, Cowboys. I hear about Astros, Rangers.
The Cowboys played your New York Giants
New Jersey
Sunday night.
New Jersey. The stadium's in New Jersey.
They squeaked by. I will say they squeaked by with a 40-0 win over Big Blue.
It's beautiful. I love watching those big blue morons lose.
How was that sports talk up
keep
there?
Keep paying the tolls to ride the turnpike. Do me a favor, New York. Pay the tolls. Pave my streets, will you?
Yeah, so you were enjoying that sports talk on Monday morning?
Let me tell you, the Jets won yesterday, and that was really, for me, the only negative of the weekend. But it's the Jets, so they'll probably finish 500. So it'll end up being in the regular Jet season. But to get the Giants blown out on opening day in the Meadowlands after an offseason of hearing how Daniel Jones just needed some weapons to make himself an elite quarterback, it was satisfying to watch him just get destroyed by the Cowboys defense.
Cowboys defense, really to be fair, Cowboys defense pretty good. So, but it was
fun to watch.
They were pretty bad. Anyway, all right. So enough of that. Football's back. Baseball is getting into playoff time. So it's a good sports time right now. College football. Frickin' Texas Longhorns beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Really
next month you'll have everything going at once, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Just about.
Well, football, it's that one time a year where everything's in sync.
Yeah. Is there? Yeah, there's that one. Was it end of October basically? When there's
like middle of
basketball,
October,
football,
hockey preseason, basketball probably start.
And basketball. Yeah.
Even though nobody cares about basketball until Christmas Day, really. Like the unofficial opening night of basketball is Christmas Day. But things are different this year in the NBA. They had the stupid tournament, which drives
you know what? At first, I thought that was. I go, what the hell is the point of that?
It's European.
And then I did a little research, and I get it. It's to drive some interest, at that time of the year when no one's paying attention to NBA basketball except for diehard NBA fans. So it's like I guess soccer does this, the big soccer leagues.
Yeah, that's what they're mimicking. It's from what I've heard, it seems to turn off a lot of the American fan. This is a problem I think with a lot of American sports, is they're not happy with the American dollar. They want to make that national money, especially the NBA. The NBA wants, and they already do. They have China by the balls.
Yeah,
the NBA basically is part of the Chinese government. They let them. They don't question China. So it's very interesting how it's and baseball does this too because they're playing games in London. It's almost like they're going to alienate their current landlocked fan bases in order to get that extra money from Europe and China and all that stuff. And I'm just like, you guys are just being greedy at this point. Like, what does it matter? NBA, why are you trying? NBA. They got their own leagues over there. Like, why are you trying to dominate?
NFL will have a London team at some point.
That's ridiculous.
I believe so.
I don't get up early enough to watch that game. If I was a player, I'd be miserable. That's a horrible plane ride.
That's the only thing it's going to be. All right. So
I think these guys complained about flying from Tampa to Seattle.
This has turned into a satellite show. Speaking of satellite shows, we need to do a sports theme one day, Pete, soon. I want to know the dynamic of your hate for those two NFL teams who play in New Jersey, but they go by New York. I want to know that. And I want to know the dynamic of the New York area. How are you? What makes you a Mets fan versus Yankees fan, Jets fan versus Giants? And is it geographic? Is it hereditary? Is it tradition, family tradition? I got to hear all of this, So like Islanders, Rangers, Devils. You got all this, right there together. What's
But don't forget, Philadelphia is only an hour south.
Yeah,
so it's
very interesting. All right, so Anyway, so there you go. There's some witty banter to finish up here, and doing a little Batman talk, talk about the Batman Part 2 as well. So we'll be back with some more lists here. We'll rank them. Some rankums coming up. We'll rank the Batman. How about ranking Bruce Wayne's? Ranking live action Bruce Wayne's.
I think George Clooney. I like George Clooney. I like a little bit of salt and pepper.
Well, hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there soon. So start putting together your list.
I'm gonna come up with
live action Bruce Wayne's.
Oh man, what would be a good list? Favorite Batman villain with goo. That would be the top 5 Batman villains with goo.
That's only one. There's only one. There'd be a list of one.
That's it. The greatest comic book villain of all time. Danny DeVito's
Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, living in the sewers, eating Jersey Mike's subs.
Oh God. Those are the funniest commercials ever. DeVito's amazing. He's a Jersey boy. He's a Jersey boy, Danny.
Yeah, they are good.
Him and Jack.
All right, then.
So you can thank New Jersey for the 2 greatest comic book villains Batman's ever faced.
Let's
live action.
You can go ahead and plug, and then we shall end this show. We'll put it out of its misery.
You can follow me on social media, X, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite platform, Verra, at Pete Illustrated. You can follow my news-based podcast I do with Eric Holzman, Straight Outta Gotham, at straight_O_G. You can follow my Spider-Man podcast, Italian Spider-Man Coalition, at Italians for Spidey. Once a month, I appear on Ryan Lauer's The Batman Book Club to recap monthly Batman books, and I'm all over BatmanOnFilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube, so check that stuff out. I got reviews everywhere. And we have a new episode of the official Batman on Film podcast, where Justin Kowalski joined me, and we talked about Batmobile scenes and Batmobile music. And that was really a lot of fun to dive into. I thought that was a unique show in itself. So
that playlist is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I did a lot of homework for that. I drove from work at home at like 1:30 in the morning every night listening to that playlist, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten a ticket because the music really gets to you.
Because so check that out. I know a lot of y'all, you listen to the podcast, it just shows up on your phone or whatever, and you listen. But go to go to Batman on Film proper and go to the page where the podcast is, because it's got the whole list, and there's links, YouTube links and music
for
links
scenes and the songs. So everything's there.
Yeah, check that out. Pete did a lot of work on that. So yeah, I thought it was cool. Only thing I got to plug is Batman on Film, batman-on-film.com. For those who actually read the site, listen to the podcast. So check it out. I got that McFarlane 6-piece.
Mine's coming tomorrow. I'm excited.
Set, Batman on Film set, whatever the hell it's called. That's what I'm gonna call it, the Batman on Film set. And I did a short video reviewing it, unboxing it, not really, just and yeah.
My favorite part of that was the announcer Rachel's cameo.
Oh, she's my cameraman. She's the announcer, and she's
cameraman. Rachel could be a union guy. She's cameraman, announcer. She could work. She could join the local 3 up here in New York, and she could work in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Yes, she wouldn't want no part of that witty banter. It's just goodbye. Poop. That would cut it off. I kept going, and she just shut it down. That was cute. I kept going. If you watched it,
that's what I said. She started it all. She started Batman on Film on Web TV.
I would say it's only nitpick. I think all the suits, all the figures they chose, they would look really nice. I like the fact you got a Clooney from Batman and Robin, and it's the the primary suit, and then for Forever and Val Kilmer, it's the sonar suit. So I would like to see them get the other suit version at some point. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
If there's one thing Todd McFarlane does, it's make a ton of Batman figures. So I'm sure they're on the way.
And a begin suit. The Dark Knight he's in the Dark Knight /Rises suit. So, but the rest, it's cool.
They're coming. I bet you they're coming.
It's got a bat signal logo.
Did you take
It
the
has
signal out?
No, it's still in the box. You know how I am.
At least take
I
the
don't want to
signal
take it out. So
You could use
I
it.
don't
It
have
actually
to-
lights up.
I will say this: I don't have to tear anything up, to get it out. It's it's in this big ass box. So, but they have the logos. I mean, like that one logo will cover Batman. Oh, I like even give me a forever. I mean, the Batman Return suit too. I like to see that.
Yeah.
But the logo. There's one logo. It's the classic. The kind of you saw for 80. It covers 89 Returns, Batman and Robin, and Forever, basically. Okay, and then
Basically, you got all the bat signals from.
you have a bat signal for each character. Absolutely. Even though one you can use for 3.
Yeah.
So
I would probably end up just using the generic bat logo. That's the classic one for me.
Yeah. So they're all there. It's cool. But yeah, come on, McFarlane, give me some. Let's do. You're gonna do Batman on film. Let's do every single freaking suit there's been. It may have been. Has he covered almost every suit for the movies?
He has done. Let's see what he's done. He's done 89. He's done the Flash. He's done Justice League tactical suit numerous times. Obviously, the Batman, the Sonar suit. So there's a couple that he hasn't done. What do we do? There's 17. We rank 17 suits.
Yep.
I'd say he's done like 7. I think he's got like 10 more to go.
Okay. I do have a Panther suit, but it's not McFarlane.
No, I have that one too. It's from Mattel.
Okay.
I'll give him credit though. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Clooney one has nipples.
It does.
The Mattel Panther suit does not have nipples.
It does not.
Which I thought was fun.
Correct. It is true.
So,
all right, I could go on and on and on with this, but anyway, check that video out. And with that, announcer Rachel will finish up here, and we'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Say goodbye, Graceland.